the legendary Ridstar Q20. This has been one of the most popular bikes, not only on my channel, but on the entire internet. This is one of the most popular moped style e-bikes by far. I absolutely love this bike. And so just a little background, I've done like 5-6 videos on this bike on the channel already. So if you want to see more information, go check out those videos. This is just going to be an update of about 1,000 miles and 2 years of ownership on this bike. I can't believe it's been 2 years since I bought this thing already. It still looks in really good condition and everything. It's a little bit dusty because I'm not nice to this bike. I take it off-road, as you guys can see, but this has just been a great bike for me so far. And I've tested dozens and dozens of e-bikes in the past, and this one still is one of my go-tos, one of my favorite, just because of everything that we're going to talk about in a bit. It's comfortable, it's quick, and it's just the best well-round package. So if you're just like, should I buy the Ridstar Q20? And that's the answer that you want on this video. Yes, you should buy the Ridstar Q20. So this model is the one that's in the middle of their lineup. It comes with a 20 amp hour battery, 1500 watt rear motor. You get hydraulic brakes. I think there is the Q20 Lite, which doesn't have hydraulic brakes, cable brakes. It's got a 15 amp hour battery, and it might have a less powerful motor. And then they have the dual motor version, the Q20 PRO. And I was gonna pick that one up a while back, but I don't think it's worth the money. They want like $2 grand for it nowadays, and there's so many better bikes that you can buy. That was a cool bike a couple years ago, but now you have bikes that are, you know, 3,000, 6,000 watts with just 60 volt, like huge batteries and everything. So the Ridstar Q20, let's talk about how this thing's been and if this is still a good deal in 2025. So let's get on the Q20 and start off on this little off-road trail right here. So like I said, I've had this bike for 2 years now, and time just flies, man. In that time, I've ridden dozens and dozens of e-bikes, some not so great, and then some really good. But honestly, this is the bike that just keeps me coming back. I love this Q20. It's just been awesome for me so far. I put 1,000 miles on this thing, nearly. I have 978 miles as we speak right now, but I'm gonna hit 1,000 this week. I'm gonna hit 1,000 in a few days for sure. And in that time, I really haven't had to do much. I talked about my experience with it before with the brakes. That was kind of the only issue that I had with this thing, and it wasn't a big issue either. It was just the fact that they were squeaking and stuff, and it got kind of annoying, but I ended up figuring that all out, and after that, it's been perfectly fine. I haven't had any issues with the brakes squeaking since then. And speaking of the brakes, these are really overbuilt brakes. These are like motorcycle or dirt bike brakes. They use DOT fluid. They have a little reservoir up here, and they're just like such overkill for what this thing's capable of. You seriously could stop from probably 60, 70 miles an hour on these things. The rotors are thick. I think it's a 4-piston setup here, so it's just overkill for what you need on this bike. This thing can only go like 30 miles an hour, 32 miles an hour, so not the fastest bike, but this is kind of the bike that that started my e-bike obsession, and I started making YouTube videos kind of because of the Ridstar Q20. So I owe a lot of my, I owe a lot of my getting started here on YouTube to this bike, because it really gave me the feedback to keep going. You know, I started getting a lot of views really early on this bike, and it really gave me that feedback that I can kind of make reviews and people will pay attention to me. And you know, the Ridstar videos have like 300,000-400,000 views on them nowadays, like 500,000 views on this one bike. So people clearly are interested. I've actually ran into people on the bike trail around me, and they've been like, they've been on a Q20, and I'm like, oh, how'd you hear about that bike? And they tell me, oh, I think I watched one of your videos actually, and it sold me on the bike. So it's crazy that that I've had that much influence for people to buy the Q20. I was definitely one of the first people talking about this bike. So anyways, enough about me. As you can see, I'm taking this thing off-road. I've beaten this topic to death on the Q20, but it's a great little off-road bike. If you're gonna be going on light trails like this, it's awesome. You can't beat it. You know, I'm going like 13 miles an hour right now because I don't really want to get shaken around too much, but it just handles this off-road, some dirt here, mostly grass. It just handles it fine. This is a full suspension bike. It's got really soft front suspension. The rear suspension that came with this was a cheap shock that I've seen on entry-level budget e-bikes, but that was one of the first things that I tried to replace. I replaced it with a coil shock, and it didn't really change it too much. It made the ride a little bit better, but that's one thing that I would say that you probably should replace on this bike right away. is you should budget a little bit of extra money for a D&M air shock to put on the rear here. Ooh, and that's gonna upgrade your ride quality tremendously. It's gonna give you a much better ride, and I think that's probably a must to do on this bike. The other thing that's a must, and I'll pull over and show you guys right now, is this seat. I actually pulled this one off of another bike that I was reviewing, and it had such a comfortable seat. I didn't ride that bike that I pulled it off of that much, so that's why I just put it on the Ridstar, because I ride the Ridstar more. But it is such a soft seat. You can probably just pick this seat up on like AliExpress or something. I actually tried looking for this seat, and I couldn't really find it online, so you're gonna have to dig a little bit deeper. But this seat is like 10 times better than the other one, and I think it helps a lot with the bumpy rear suspension on this thing. I still didn't switch out that rear suspension to like a D&M air shock or anything. So those are the two things I would say are a must. Get you a softer rear seat and get you a D&M air shock. So the Ridstar Q20 is a single motor e-bike. And if you were gonna ask me what is one of the best single motor e-bikes that I can buy for around $1,000, I would say just buy the Q20. This thing's got pretty much everything you need. I think you could put foot pegs in the back for a rear passenger. I'm pretty sure you could jimmy up a rear rack for this thing if you needed that extra space. But you know, this is just kind of a do-it-all bike. It rides well. It's got a good amount of power for a single motor bike with the 1500 watt hub motor in the back there. And it's got a good display. Like, it just is a bike that does everything really well. I'll say this too, this bike, like I said, I've had it for 2 years, so there might be a few components that are different nowadays. I'm not sure. I haven't seen what they ship with nowadays, but this bike's been on the market for a while now, so they might have changed a few things. They might have improved a few things here and there. So I'm talking about the one that I bought in 2023. But still, I hear great things about the new versions of this bike and everything. I'm not exactly sure what changes they've made, but it looks like they still have the same brakes, same suspension and stuff, same general setup as this bike. But it's just a really good kind of do-it-all bike. As you saw back there, we can go off-road. As you see now, we can go on the bike trails and everything with this thing. It's got a twist throttle on here, so you can just ride it around like a little motorcycle, and everything just works really well. I've never had an issue with the battery or the motor. It's been really awesome so far. The Q20 also has one of the quietest hub motors that I've ever experienced on an e-bike before, and like I said, I've ridden dozens and dozens of them at this point, and it's just one of the quietest. It's not the most powerful. You know, back in the day when I bought this thing, it was one of the more powerful e-bikes, but technology's progressed a lot since then. And now you can get bikes with 3,000 watt motors, 6,000 watt motors. You know, you can get 60 volt systems, 72 volt systems, 84, like, it's just crazy what you can get nowadays. I would say that if you're looking for a good e-bike for around $1,000, the Q20 is definitely something that you should pick up, if not seriously consider when you're going to go buy an e-bike. Seriously, just riding this thing around, it is so quiet. I don't know how they did this years ago, because nowadays there's lots of hub motors that are really loud, but this thing is just so stealthy, so quiet. All you hear is tire noise. If you switch this out for some road tires, then you really would have an even more quiet ride. This is a good little platform to kind of upgrade stuff on too. You know, you can throw better tires on it. The brakes are already way overkill. You would still be good if you were riding this thing 50 miles an hour. You wouldn't need to upgrade the brakes. The suspension is pretty good out of the box. Like I said, you might want to upgrade that rear shock. The speedometer on this bike is really accurate. The battery has also lasted me really well. I haven't noticed much range loss, and I've put dozens and dozens of cycles on this thing. It's 2-year-old battery now, so it is probably degrading just slightly, as all lithium-ion batteries do just with time. You could have a lithium-ion battery sitting in your garage, and it's going to degrade over time. Super comfortable ride on this thing. It's funny because this was literally my second e-bike that I ever bought, and it sort of set a high standard in my head of e-bikes. I thought well, this is a cheap e-bike, so more expensive ones must be even better. And I've ridden some bikes that cost way more than this one did that aren't as good as this bike. So it just goes to show you that this is a really great value bike. There's a lot of companies that market their bikes more. There's a lot of companies that charge a lot more for their bikes. But Ridstar just kind of flew under the radar. And I've never seen an advertisement for a Ridstar, but I've seen a lot of people review them on YouTube and on TikTok and stuff. And so it's just a great bike. And you know it's a great bike because it's just word of mouth. I bought this bike with my own money years ago, and I've never taken a dime from Ridstar. I actually reached out to them to see if they'd want to send me a bike, because the videos that I've gotten on the Q20 have gotten so many views, and I've sold so many of these things that you'd think they'd want to send me a free bike or something, but they haven't, and I'm not salty about it. Like, I'm just happy riding around my Q20 here. Also, for the money, I think this thing has dropped a little bit in price. I paid just over $1,000 for this thing back in the day. Now I think you can get it for closer to like 900. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at the price on this bike. I'll leave an Amazon link for this bike down in the description and everything. But I think the price is really, really reasonable on this too. I think the build quality on this is really, really reasonable for the price too. Not even just for the price, just in general. Like, everything feels really good. There's no weird squeaks and rattles. Again, I've had bikes that were more expensive than this that had a bunch of squeaks and rattles and felt more sketchy. This thing just feels really stable on the road. It gets up to speed nice and quick. And it's just an awesome, awesome feeling moped style e-bike. And I love this thing. I still enjoy riding it, even though I have plenty of other bikes in the garage that are really, really fast. I keep coming back to this thing because it's just a great mix between speed and comfort. Not the fastest, it's not the most comfortable, but it's just a mixture of all of those things, and it's a really, really nice bike to take out. It's just a joy to ride this thing. I poked fun at the name back when I first got this bike too, the Ridstar. But you know, there's a lot of Chinese bikes out there that have goofy names to them, so it's, you know, don't let the name stop you from buying this thing. It's just a goofy name. And I always have said Ridstar, and some people say it's Ridstar, and then I'm pronouncing it wrong. Whatever, man, I don't care. It looks like a Ridstar to me. Range on this bike, I've gotten like 30 miles of throttle only on this thing, so really, really good range out of this 20 amp hour battery. Brakes on this are just so crazy. Yeah. Oh man. I am gonna need some new tires on this soon, especially on the rear wheel there, because it is a little bit, it's getting bald in the center. So I'm gonna throw some street tires on this thing probably. I'm gonna probably throw some CST Scout tires on this because it deserves it, man. It's a good bike, deserves some good tires. If you're interested in this bike, I will leave the Amazon link down below. I can't say enough good things about the Ridstar Q20. Definitely not only one of the best e-bikes for $1,000, but one of the best e-bikes, full stop, period. Plenty of power to go off-road and uphill and stuff. Nice little top speed of around 30 miles an hour. You could probably get 31, 32 out of it. But yeah, guys, that's it for today. The Ridstar Q20 is an awesome bike. Go ahead and get yourself one. You will not regret it at all. I love this thing so much, and it's the bike that kind of started this channel, so I'm forever grateful for the Ridstar Q20, and I have a little bit of nostalgia for it. So I hope all you guys are out there riding safe, enjoying the summer, and enjoying your e-bikes. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.